Hi, and welcome back. This is Laura Kay coming at you from the Bocas Yoga studio here in Panama, my house. Anyway, welcome back. And this is a handstand tutorial. I just want you to keep in mind positive attitude, optimal alignment equals blissful action. So, number one principle always positive attitude. Take a nice seat and just turn into yourself and choose to see nothing but your goodness. And whether you accomplish this pose or not, it doesn't take away from anything that you are. Know that on the inside you are perfect and full and lacking nothing, just the way that you are. So I usually don't even teach handstand in class, but I know it's a pose that a lot of people aim to at least try. So here is an attempt to go for it. So turn inside and see not only your strength, but also your softness, your willingness to be vulnerable and open to new experiences. And the end result, doesn't really matter, just that you have the positive intent to come to the mat, try something new. That's where it's at. So come to your mat, please, and keep in mind that your foundation reflects your intent. Your foundation is whatever touches the floor. In this case, it's your feet as you're standing. And then as you forward bend to reach the floor with your hands, your foundation is now going to be also your fingertips, your hands. So as you come into your plank pose, take a look at your fingertips. Really gain awareness of how you place your hands. The line creases where your hand meets your forearm are parallel to the front of the mat. Your fingertips are so strong and wide that I couldn't pick them up if I tried. And trust me, I will try. With your consent, I will walk around the room, try to pick up people's fingertips. So if you can't place your hands in a way where your fingertips are not lifting up when someone tries to come around and pick them up, then simply you're not ready for handstand. So give this a go. Even in your cobra pose, as you inhale into cobra pose, the fingertips are still strong and wide. And as you're in your cobra, fingertips super strong and wide, press back, downward facing dog. Now I want you to see what my shoulder blades are going to be doing, because your shoulder blades are a big part of your handstand later on. So bend the elbows. See how the shoulder blades go in towards each other. Then you try to keep them in towards each other as you fully extend straight arms. The fingertips have not gone anywhere. So that's really the key. I'll do it again. Bend your elbows, shoulder blades touching. So you try to keep them touching as you fully extend straight arms. So that's the key to handstand later on, is these strong shoulders, these flexible shoulders, and strong arms. Good. Step both feet forward up to your hands, hands on hips, elbows up to the sky. Now, elbows up to the sky takes a certain amount of shoulder flexibility, and that's why we do that. It also keeps your back safe. Exhale down, touch the floor again with your fingertips. Come back into another plank pose. So as you do all these plank poses and dogs, you're getting your wrists warmed up and ready, not just strong but flexible in your wrists. Exhale slowly down to the ground. Press your fingertips so strong into the ground that I couldn't lift them up. Inhale, cobra. Keep your fingertips that strong. Elbows bent, shoulders back. Again, always shoulders back. The key to handstand is not just arm strength, it's shoulder flexibility. So in your cobra, shoulders back, which equals heart forward. Heart open is really the key to yoga. So it's not who can do a handstand, it's just a matter of the open heart, the open mind, the willingness to just try something new. Press back, downward facing dog. Good. Step your right foot forward, up in between your hands, and pause on fingertips. Come on up. Now shoulders back. Again, reach for the sky. So remember, your back leg is your foundation. That reflects your intent. When that intent is so strong, you do have more flexibility and freedom up top with your heart, which always means shoulders back. Heart to the sky. Exhale down. You have a lovely view in your plank pose of your fingertips. Always keep that awareness of your fingertips. Inhale, cobra. Draw your hands isometrically towards your hips. Now that takes strength. You're going to get that yummy, juicy feeling in between your shoulder blades. And I'm telling you, the shoulder blades are where it's at. Enjoy your breath. As much as you're kicking ass, allow your skin to soften as you step your left foot forward, up in between your hands. Come on up to hands on your thigh, shoulders back. Yep, reach for your highest potential. Whatever that is today, your back leg is strong. Inhale, with every inhale, play your edge, go shoulders further back, heart higher to the sky. So this does have a lot to do with handstand. You really need to work on this shoulder mobility, this heart opening, and every part of your body you are aware of. Every single part, from your fingertips to your toes. Exhale slowly down. Inhale, cobra with parallel legs. Heart forward. Super strong fingertips. Life is good. This is a celebration of your life. Just give it your best effort and you're absolutely perfect. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up to the sky, one-legged dog. Bend your right knee, point your right foot way in the opposite direction. Play your edge. See how far you can go. Now this is kind of a handstand right here. Maybe you fall over. That's okay. This is a pose called Wild Thing. So even when we fall, it's a measure of us on how we deal with it. We choose to create beauty and art and grace with it. If we can. If we fall on our ass, that's fine too. We just get right back up. So other side, set your foundation. It's your fingertips, left leg up. Bend your left knee, point your left foot way in the opposite direction. Go ahead and fall back. So this falling back into Wild Thing does take not just strong arms, it takes flexible shoulders. So that's why I want you to do all of these poses. These are kind of measured poses to see if handstand is something for you later on. So if you're struggling with Wild Thing or any of these other strong arm balancing poses, then maybe you're not quite ready for handstand, but work on these. This is side plank. So with your right fingertips super strong onto the mat, stack all 10 toes. Pelvis lifts towards the sky. Start to lean back with your top shoulder blade. That opens the heart again. So you're working on not just arm strength, you're working on shoulder flexibility. And then you take it back over into a side plank for a moment and then back to downward facing dog. You reset your foundation every single time. In this case, it's your fingertips. Other side, left knife of edge of your left foot on the floor. Stack all 10 toes. Pelvis lifts, heart opens. See how the shoulder blades are moving towards each other again. Perhaps you fall back into Wild Thing, which again, it takes not just strength, but shoulder flexibility. And that's the key to handstand later. So even if you don't do handstand today, do all of these arm balancing poses in your warm-up over and over again until you've built up enough arm strength to tackle handstand. Step both feet forward up to your hands, hands on hips, elbows up to the sky. Okay, so you want to play with your wrist flexibility and strength. You should be able to bend back your wrists like this. Now, that gives you the strong foundation. Now you hug the midline of your body. So you have this line that runs up and down your body. You can see it in my abdominals, in between my legs, my breasts. There's this line, and so you want to pretend like you're hugging all the muscle energy from the periphery of your body in towards the midline. That's called hug the midline. Now look how strong the feet are, and I guarantee you that's how strong my hands are as I reach for the ceiling. So think of the middle part of your body, say the core of your pelvis, as your focal point. So from that point, you really want to engage and shine out in both directions. So you set your foundation again, your strong, strong toes, your strong, strong fingers, and you reach for the sky. So as you reach for the sky, it's going to be with a flat hand. It's going to be like you're standing literally on the ceiling. So from your head to your toes, you're really extending out. You're trying to reach the ceiling as much as you're rooting down to the earth with your legs. Hug the midline. Let's do it again. Now again, reach for the ceiling. Even look towards the ceiling. And make it seem like you're standing on the ceiling with your hands. Engage your core. Hug the midline. The legs are still strong. Good. Now you're ready to come to the wall. So this is a preliminary handstand. It's something you can easily do by yourself. Positive attitude, first principle. Second principle, alignment. Sit your bum at the wall. If you can't reach your feet with your hands, it's okay. Keep an eye on the ground where your feet were. Now you're going to place your hands where your feet were, and then try to pick up your fingers. Don't allow yourself to have your fingers picked up. Now you're going to slide your legs away from where your hands were. Place your hands at shoulder width apart. The lines of the hands where they meet your forearms are parallel to the wall behind you. Walk your feet up the wall into an L. At hip height your feet are. And there will be a natural fear of falling forward, and as you can see, I'm easily not going to fall forward. If anything, I'll just fall down towards the wall. If you feel more comfortable having a friend assist you, all their job really will be is to stand behind you. It just makes you feel like, hey, someone has my back. If they have your permission, they can gently touch your hip bones. That doesn't mean fondle your ass or anything like that. It's just to let you know where your hip bones are at. When you're upside down, you'd be surprised at how the brain is kind of racing. It doesn't know where things are, like hip bones and shoulder blades. So it does take practice just to wrap your head literally around being upside down. So here's the shoulder loop. You bend your elbows out to the side, shoulder blades in like they're touching, and then you fully extend straight arms. So that's that trick you did earlier in your downward facing dog. So you can see how much that makes the shoulders engage. And so all of your weight isn't just dumped into your wrists. Another reason to spread your fingertips so strong and wide is the weight is not dumped in your wrists. Now your feet are light. Here I'm just lightly dancing my feet off the wall. You'll see a lot of people just kind of slide down the wall with their feet. The feet should be so light that you don't even really need to touch the wall, but we're going to keep the feet on the wall here. It's just safer. We're not going to work into a full handstand in this pose. This is just called L at the wall, and it's a great preliminary pose because it's actually quite safe. You will not fall forward. Again, if you want a friend to stand behind you, just so the brain feels comfort. It feels like, hey, someone literally has my back. That's fine. It's good to give the brain what it wants. If it wants to feel comforted and nurtured, give it what it wants. But you can see I'm not going to fall forward. It's kind of just a mind game. And the more you do these inversions, the more your mind becomes confident and comfortable and into this less of a like, oh shit type of moment. And then you just come down one leg at a time, softly, without a sound if possible. And that will come with practice, the silent landing. And then you inhale, come on up. So I've recruited a model, one of my yoga students who's passing through the archipelago, these wonderful adventurous world travelers I'm so grateful for. So she's going to show you the assist on how to get assisted up into a handstand. So you place your hands at shoulder width apart. She's going to try to pick up my fingers. Now, I'm not going to let her. So you really want someone, if you're not disciplined enough to keep your fingertips on the ground, you're not ready for a handstand. So for your own safety, just stop here. If your fingertips are so strong that your friend cannot pick them up, then okay, let's proceed. And with practice, your fingertips will get strong again during your so-called easier poses like plank, downward facing dog. So she's standing to the side because you can always get kicked in the head as an assistant. If you get kicked in the head, you're not in a position to serve anyone. I inhale left leg up so it's straight. She holds my shin with both hands. I press my full body weight into her and I lift myself up on my own accord. She doesn't, help me up. So what I'm doing there is like scissoring my inner thighs together and to hug the midline. So it's like, okay, I'm upside down. Where's my fucking midline? So she's going to place her hand between my thighs just to remind me there is a midline to my body. And so I'm squeezing her hand. And you can see the difference it makes in my abdominals. As I squeeze her hand, it forces me to hug the midline throughout my whole body, including my abdominals, which you totally need a strong core for a handstand. Notice she's still standing to the side because at any moment I could lose strength and come down and kick her in the head, give her a concussion. I've had a concussion. Trust me, you don't want one. So she's going to lovingly release her hand. I'm going to go back to hug the midline. Then she's going to press her hands on my heels just to remind me where my heels are. Now, I'm going to try to touch the ceiling with my heels. I spread my toes. That keeps your legs engaged. So again, it's like you're standing on the ceiling. So there's no like pointed foot in this. There's no lazy ass legs. You hug the midline. You hug your thighs together. You reach for the ceiling with your heel. And so sometimes it takes a nice friendly person to tell you where your heels are, and then a friendly person to tell you where your hip bone is at. And as she stands to the side, I lower down, hinging at the hip, one leg at a time. And then you land silently, hopefully, and that will come with time. The silent landing is just a lot less impact on your joints. Hands on hips, elbows up to the sky. Inhale up with a soft back. If you did your handstand, it's nice to congratulate and just like have a fun little moment with your assistant because, we do this together. We support each other and, it's just fun. I like to add a little happy dance. So here we go. We're going to do the handstand on its own. So come to the wall, place your hands a couple inches away from the wall. Check that the wrist creases are parallel to the wall. Fingertips so strong that nobody can pick them up. Now I'm just going to kick up. It's kind of hard to explain. You take like a runner's stance, when you see runners taking off from the starting line. So you just kick up. I'll show you a side view in a moment. So I'm going to pretend someone's hand is there between my thighs and I'm going to squeeze. Now watch the shoulder loop. I bend the elbows, work the shoulder blades in towards each other as I fully extend straight arms. And so your vision can be in between your hands. Notice how now I'm going to engage the feet. I spread the toes. I pretend that my assistant is there touching my heels, and it's like you just try to press in to your assistant's heels. You reach for the ceiling with your heels, with your toes spread. And as much as you do that, you press away from the floor with your arms. So there's nothing passive about this pose. You hug the midline. You could see it in my abdominals. They're working. This feels so good on the neck. I have a pretty bad neck injury, and it feels so good, this handstand. Again, you hinge at the hip, one leg at a time for your descent. Inhale to come up. So you always want to make sure you have enough energy for a nice, easy descent. So here's the handstand from the side. You've got your strong, flexible hands ready, and you get ready to place them on the floor. You really work yourself. You kind of have to psych yourself into it. It's like positive attitude, #1 principle, always. Now, second principle, alignment. This is your handstand. Your fingertips reflect your intent. So your intent has got to be strong and powerful to do this pose. So fingertips powerful. I'm just going to show you the kick up from the side view. This is how I do it. I just get like in a runner stance. It really takes a lot of leg power and the hug the midline power, core power, to get up into this thing. So you kind of psych yourself up. You figure out which leg is your more powerful kicking leg. You choose your more powerful leg, and then you're just going to kick on up. Again, you hug the midline. You scissor your inner thighs together. Now see, don't let the legs go all wide. You hug your thighs together. You spread your toes, extend up towards the ceiling with your heels, and you press away from the floor with your arms, with your hands. So it's like the core of your pelvis is a focal point, and from that point you really extend out, you shine out in both directions. So you're not just standing there. There's nothing passive about this. You really have to press away from the floor as much as you reach for the ceiling with your heels. So this all takes power. You got to hug the midline. Again, that means you just visualize this muscle energy at the periphery of your body, and from that periphery you hug it in towards the midline, the middle of your body. So, and this does feel so good on the neck. This is why I don't teach headstands. They can be quite injurious to the neck. So we don't even do headstands. We don't play around with that. We go straight for the handstands. You're going to hinge at the hip, one leg at a time, and go for your descent. So if you do have an assistant, they're going to let you descend on their own. The worst thing you can do is allow your assistant to hold your leg up against the wall, because again, at any time you can lose strength and fall down. And if someone is holding your leg to the wall, you're going to come into the splits and possibly rip a hamstring. So if you are doing this with an assistant, you have to come down on your own accord. So if that means you crash, fine, you crash. But with time, you get used to the silent landing. So here we go. I'm going to show you another handstand up against the wall. These are just fun, playful variations. You can do the splits, which is what I'm going to show you. So I kick myself up. I try to be mindful of my artwork. And then you can come into the splits, and it feels quite nice because gravity is helping you take your legs down towards the earth, which will give you a wider split. So you kind of have to play with evening out your legs. Again, you're upside down and you're not in front of a mirror, so it's hard to tell what the hell is going on with your legs. So that's okay. You just play with it. You just kind of let them dance up and down. It feels good on the hips. Still look at the core, look at my fingertips, And then I'm going to hug it in. I'm going to get ready for my descent. I want to respect my artwork, so I'm going to take my feet to either side and then hinge at the hips and descend lightly. Good. And then there's always a little happy dance. So now that you've done all your yummy inversions, you're going to give yourself some love, well-deserved. Come onto your back. Right leg over left thigh. Clasp your hands behind your left thigh. Keep your toes active as much as you draw your right thigh in deep toward your chest. Use your left forearm to press your left thigh away from your chest. So after all that intense work, you did work quite a lot. You deserve some hugging time, some me time, some self-embracing time. Inhale, release. And yes, that's so yummy on the hips. So as much as everything's getting strengthened with your handstands, we still want to work on flexibility, and it does require flexible hips actually to do a handstand. So we never neglect all these opening poses. So right leg over your left thigh. Clasp your hands behind your left thigh as much as you draw your left thigh in deep towards your chest. With your feet still engaged, use your right forearm to press your right thigh further away from your chest. And with every exhale, it's like you embrace yourself a little bit deeper. Give yourself that hug that you deserve after all those handstands, or even to attempt a handstand. And, I've never done a handstand in the middle of the room unassisted. And I know that's not something that I'll achieve in my lifetime. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I turn 50 next month. And with growing older, you just accept certain things about your body. So if I never do a handstand unassisted, hey, that's fine. It doesn't make me lesser of a person. Neither does you. So come into Supta Baddha Konasana. This is a reclined bound angle pose. There's still a little arch to the lower back. If you like blocks under your knees, go for it. This is a groin opener, so just send the energy to your groins. Just visualize a warm, yummy, orange, light pink light at your groins. And then I'm going to get ready for your twist. So here we go. Come onto your back. You're still on your back. Nice. And it just feels good to give yourself what you deserve after working so hard. So all these cooling down poses are necessary. If you want to quit after the handstands, that's fine, but you really do deserve, and the body needs a cool down. With both shoulder blades on the ground, left leg straight. Exhale, twist your right leg over towards the left. Now your right knee can be bent if you choose. If you're pretty flexible, you might be able to reach your right foot all the way to your left hand on the floor, and then your head will turn towards the right. Externally rotate your top thigh bone. Basically, that means you try to get your top butt cheek away from your face. And so not only is your spine getting twisted, it's getting lengthened. So the right side of your whole body gets longer as you externally rotate your top thigh bone. Inhale back up. Gonna switch it out. So keep both shoulder blades on the ground. Get ready for your other side. Right leg is straight. Left knee can be bent. Give a little hop to your right hip. Exhale, twist. So your left knee can be bent, or you can take your left foot all the way to your right hand on the floor. See how both shoulder blades are still on the ground, and then your head turns towards the left. Externally rotate your top thigh bone. Basically, you try to get your top thigh away from your face. And it just feels good with every exhale. Visualize your breath get clearer, your body get cleaner, Every exhale, try to twist a little bit deeper, and that actually takes core muscles to do. So even though this looks like a nice yummy twist, your core is still involved to get it to go deep. And that's really what we want in all yoga poses, is to just go to our fullest potential, whatever that is. Inhale back up. All right. I like to lift the hips up off the ground, set them back down just so the sacrum is level again. Your inner body is bright, your skin is soft. Let's get the groin open. Keep your right leg strong on the ground as you take your left foot. So again, it's like you try to stand on the ceiling with your top foot. And perhaps your left knee will not hit the ground. That's fine. It's more important that your top shin, your left shin here in this case, is vertical like the four walls around you. And you just breathe into it. It can be a tricky place to get the groin open, so just visualize like a warm light at your groin as it softens and opens with each long, deep breath. And so a lot of these poses, handstand, everything, it does require not just strength, but a certain amount of flexibility in your hips and your groins. So that's why it's always a good idea not to skip these opening flexibility type poses. Because with any yoga pose, it's not just about strength or flexibility, it's about a combination of both. Turn inside and choose to see your goodness first. So never make negative statements about yourself. Release the pose, pause and feel. Send some compassion to your pelvis. I like to arch the low back to get a pretty decent solid foundation on your left leg. You can see the arch to my back in the mirror. Now, it's really tricky to keep that arch, so I'm going to lose a little bit of it as I come into the other side, but that's okay. You always want to start with that really strong foundation, which is your bottom leg here. Remember, your foundation is whatever touches the floor. So in this case, the left leg stays strong on the ground as you take your right foot. So your arm is on the inside of your knee, hand wraps around the outside of your top foot, and then it's like you try to get your top foot so it stands on the ceiling. And that way your ankle isn't in a weird position either. So you allow your top foot to stand on the ceiling. And it doesn't matter how close your knee goes towards the floor. You can even use a strap for this pose. But try to get your top shin so it's more or less vertical like the four walls around you. Again, sometimes in yoga poses, we don't even know what's up or down, what's left or right. So with practice, you get a bit more confident. You get the feeling for what's vertical, what's horizontal, what's parallel. Yes, this is a geometry class, so everything, your awareness has to be everywhere, your body, your mind, and then it's like a mathematician putting together this alignment of your human anatomy, which is so gorgeous. All of us are gorgeous. This human body is just something so incredible. There's so much going on inside of you, body and mind. And let's just learn to appreciate that. And on the inhale, you let it go. Oh, send some compassion to your pelvis. You deserve it. It feels so yummy to get your groins open. Bend both knees. Roll to one side. Use your arm strength to press yourself up to seated. Yay! It just feels good. Come onto your back, please, for Shavasana, your final relaxation pose. Very well deserved. Close your eyes and choose to see nothing but your goodness. Choose to see your beauty first. Allow your legs, to be heavy, and your arms are heavy with the palms faced up, fingers nice and relaxed. Your inner body is bright, your skin is soft. Allow your face, your forehead to be smooth and peaceful with relaxation. With every slow exhalation, feel a release in your jaw muscles, so much so that the upper and lower rows of teeth will lightly separate. Enjoy your breath. Keeping your skin soft, start to expand the light that is you. Start to expand your rib cage, your lungs to receive a deeper breath, a fuller breath as you start to bring subtle movement back to your body with fingers and toes, and rotate ankles and wrists. Deeper inhale, deeper exhale. Yeah, it feels good to just bring life back to the body. And yeah, your joints do need that rotation, as you saw in your handstand. This is just a very subtle bringing back the awareness to your body, slowly waking it back up. Stretch however feels. Oh yes, that feels good. Yummy for you. You deserve to feel good. Yes. Aww. Now gently bend one knee and then the other knee. And with both knees bent, roll to your right side, please. Just take a moment there to rest your head on your arm and breathe into your heart. Keep your awareness on the inside. Then place both hands on the floor. Use just your arm strength to press yourself up to a nice seated position. So we come up that fancy way because it's good for your back. So that's why we come up that way. And then come up gently and take a lovely seat on your blanket. I always like a blanket underneath the bum. Now your sits bones are rooted to the earth. Turn inside with your eyes gently closed and just kind of play with your seated position. Check in with yourself, how you feel physically, mentally now compared to at the beginning of class. Play with your arms if you choose. Reach for the sky in celebration. Yes, so as much as you're rooted with your sits bones to the earth, you still reach for the sky. You yourself are this connection of earth and sky. You are this balance of strength and softness, of courage and flexibility. And flexibility can mean just being able to go with the flow, to have an open mind, adventurous spirit. Namaste. Thank you. Love from the islands. Cheers. Yay.